don't think I'll be able to get this off.
Why?
It's too corroded.
If you're having trouble hearing what he was saying that he cannot take it off because it's too corroded.
Don't worry, you won't be on camera.
Okay, just make sure.
I made sure you were on the last one. Wow, I want to see that.
That's just flux. You have to use that to when you're sweating pipes. So you can grab this stuff. I'm gonna get one. Let's get the water inside here.
After cutting that piece off, well, it's not shown in the video, but he applies weather flux, and the flux is FLUX, and I would Google that for a better explanation, because in this video I won't explain what it is because I don't understand it, and the purpose of this video is to show my experience of changing valves than, of being more detailed. I don't want this video to be detail oriented on plumbing terms and tools that were used. But getting back to this, he applies a weather flux, and I assume the weather flux helps to loosen what is soldered together with the piping, the two copper pipes, and I'm assuming that's what helps loosen it or maybe melt it away. I don't understand how that works, but it's how he was able to remove it. But also he applies weather flux first, then he lights up his butane torch, and then he holds it right against where it was soldered. And then through time, as you saw there, he grabbed a wrench and he was just testing to see if it's loose or not. And I also I was there, and I remember him as he was, and as it does work the technique, it was getting slowly loosened, and it finally just came off easily, which was amazing. And as you see him, he is trying to get out all that water through the coming out. So eventually he had to return to his work vehicle and take out a water vacuum, so that as he is continuously doing weather flux, butane torch to it, and then the water vacuum will take out some of that water to help make it much easier for him to remove this piece of copper.
Then this is the part where you solder it,
This
right?
is the point where you're soldering.
the scene where there's two GIFs of Mortal Kombat and a person playing an arcade machine, you see that copper piece exposing out. So before you apply or put on this, he told me it was a female adapter, I believe, or could be male adapter. I don't know. But before you apply that piece, you have to sand what you saw there previously in the other clips before applying this other copper piece on there. And he carried these like thin rollable sandpaper, and he would just sand it. And if you're wondering why they do that, I just assume that it's just standard practice and it's just something you do as a plumber. That's all I can say for now. Okay, that piece you see right there is from the previous clip. He was trying to remove it because he decided he doesn't want that there, and it was giving him a hard time that he had to just break it off, and that's why it looks so destroyed. Now what you're seeing is the final of how it looks fully installed. He asked me, I think, was to get the wrench or something and hold it as he would weld it in the, as I held the two copper pieces together, he would weld it right there. And then after he finished soldering it, I should say that term, soldering it, because you see that line in the middle of that pipe, then he would place it over there and he would do, I think what he did was he put weather flux inside the pipe, and then he would heat it up, try to push it in there, and it would slowly get in. It was kind of like a lubricant almost. It was just like pushing it in, and it got in. And then, of course, he did the same procedure and he welded on. So this is the second water hose that had to be fixed because the valve itself was partially broken. Like it was still intact, but like it looked like if someone had eaten it. And it wasn't as bad as the other water hose where there was no valve. But since he was doing that job, I decided that for him to also do that job as well, because since you're here, you might as well finish both of them. And you can see burn marks on the wall. That was caused because he would apply weather flux, that same procedure again, and they would put that butane torch, and it would cause an ignition, like a boom, like it just like, and it would just burn the outside, and he would also have to keep that butane torch on that copper piece in order to remove it and loosen it out. So unfortunately that happened, but it's okay. I can just paint it and it's all repaired, and it will be repainted and resolved. And I'm grateful because he said that he may have to break the wall, and he never did. So that's a blessing. And I just want to say that despite all that I've learned, I would still call a plumber. Just want to conclude and say thank you, God, and thank you, God, for the plumber. He helped out a lot. Hope you enjoyed.